Okay. Cynic's dying, so he asked me to do the VOD review for you guys. It's probably going to be a little bit different than what he would do. It's going to be quick because it's late. Um, but I'm going to go over Ilios, talk about macro, a little bit of micro here and there, depending on how this goes. I wasn't here for this whole map, so this is new to me as well. Okay, so we're rolling out on Fair Tracer, which into what they're running, we should, on paper, lose. We might not, depending on how good Cry is on the McCree here, how well he can juggle dealing with our Fair Mercy and our Tracer at the same time. This here, I like this. Their tanks are rotating this way. Boger makes the call and continues to counter-rotate them to stay out of them, or to keep their tanks out of us. Jesus, I'm tired. Razor, you're playing up here, which is good. Your Pharah flight control is looking better already. I've been watching you the last couple of days. You're maintaining height, which is good for you. I want to see you spamming heavy here. You're at 28 already, which is a good indicator that you're doing so. So let's just continue. Fucking good positioning for B Razor. Good night.
Doom's one.
I'm on Doom still?
Okay, so a lot of what happens here comes down to two things, right? So they have a Lucio, we don't. So rotating around them and staying away from them is really, really hard. And half of their team is playing a rush comp, obviously, with the Doom and everybody else, except the McCree. The McCree is playing over here, taking an off angle, and waiting for us to plop down a shield before he rotates further this way, so he can get a better angle on us once our Orisa shield is down. Razor got pull rocked and killed. Shit happens. That's how it be sometimes. But something that we could have done here that might have done us a little bit better is, instead of trying to counter rotate them and then set up, we have to just keep moving around the well. Eventually, we would rotate into this McCree. He has nowhere to go. We pull him, we rock him, we kill him. We have a Tracer as well. All these things, we were here. He was over here. And we just keep rotating around. And if we force him to rotate, fine, whatever. He's not getting value. He's rotating. But on the comp that we were on, the place that we want to take a fight is, wherever Razor isn't. So if Razor's over here, we want to take a fight here. If Razor's over here, we want to make sure that we're taking a fight over in this area so that Razor can spam behind their shields, into their tanks, into their DPS, without being bothered so much by pull rocks and stuff like that. What ended up happening, obviously, is they rotated this way. Razor was here. Our tanks were in this area rotating, so they basically they had all the resources that they needed to just commit to Razor, pull him out of the air, and that was that. It was good from them, but I see what we were trying to do. Very good. Swapping for retake. I remember before the round started, Cynic in the VOD was talking about making sure we're swapping for retake, making sure that if they have a Pharah and we're struggling, that we swap to a hit scan so we can properly deal with it. Good pull rock. A little bit early of a coalescence. They haven't really committed much. They don't have an Orisa shield to stack. They're mirror coalescing now. Good pick from Razor. Aspire, you need to be careful when you rotate like this away from your tanks and you don't say anything, especially when they have a McCree. It's very, very dangerous for you to try and make those kinds of solo plays. You baited the flash, it's fine. But in baiting the flash, you also used your own cooldowns, and all they had to do was boop you off the map, and there was nothing you could do about it. Because you didn't have Wraith, you had teleport, but there was no way you could teleport back up in time. So if you're going to go for a flank like that, you need to call it. You need to call for resources. You need to call for Boger to push up more aggressively. You need to call for your Sigma to shield you, or your Sigma to come with you. Things like that, especially because we were pushing through this room and their tanks were looking this way. Is a good flank from you, but you have to say something about it. There's no use in trying to make plays alone. You know, we're not playing ladder. This is, you know, you can ask your teammates for help. You can demand resources, and there are people there, 5 people specifically, that can give you resources and help you do these things. I know Cynic has spoken to you about it, you know, a couple times, demanding resources. You know, calling for tempo plays and stuff like that. It's really important for you as the Reaper player to do those things. Ooh. Oof.
Nice. Orisa.
Okay, not bad. Good job, Ogre.
I'm still on Orisa.
This should be one. No ult should be committed here. This is easy win for us. Good job, guys. Start off a little bit rough, obviously. The rotation came through a bit slowly. Boger ends up getting booped into the high noon. Things that could be done to prevent that. Use of the Sigma shield to block the high noon, eat the high noon. Obviously, Boger was pulled, so he didn't really see it coming. Train of thought gone. All around not a bad fight, but there were a lot of mistakes, like micro mistakes that can be fixed pretty easily just by being more vocal, calling out where the high noon is, calling resources that you need. That will help us take these fights where we win but we lose 2 or we lose 3, and turning them into fights where we can win cleanly, losing only 1 person, maybe 2 at the very most.
I get split.
Doom.
Help Doom. Kill Doom. Nice. Care for Brute.
They stopped her. Okay. Yo, I'm gonna play in this mini right here. Whenever they walk by me, just be ready to hard engage.
Yeah, go for it. Go bongo. Go hard. Instantly. Pull the trigger. No hesitation. Alright, they're coming.
Just got it.
Looks like they run left.
Yeah, I'm forced out red.
Okay.
We go hard. We better.
3, 2, 1, go now. Pull. Nice.
Okay, not a bad start. Nice trigger pull from us. Rotated quickly into them effectively. Really good. We win using only 1 ultimate, which is really key for us because coming in, they committed their Doom ult, and we only used Fran's ult. So this trade here is really good. The Doom is going to take him another minute, maybe 45 seconds at the very vastest to build up another ult, especially on this map. The geometry is not so friendly to Doom players. There's not so many places for him to get a lot of value, whereas Fran will get her ult very quickly. We'll probably have one either in the mid fight of the next engagement or at the end of the next fight. She'll have another one. Did we also use Bongo? I didn't even see it. I'll rewind just a tad. I rewound too far. Oh my, I'm gonna injure myself.
Whenever they walk by me, just be ready to hard engage.
Okay, here we go. I'll watch it one more time. Brain lag. Okay, another thing that I didn't notice the first time. This right here from Aspire is really good. Setting up these flanks, making sure that we're there, ready to pull the trigger as fast as humanly possible. Right here on this choke, obviously, Boger's here, and Aspire's there. We're ready to pull the trigger on this choke. This is predetermined. This is where we're going. This is when we're doing it. And the trigger call comes through, and we execute it really nicely. I really like this play from us. It's really good. Okay. Wraith's forced out, which is fine. They plop down their shield. It's useless to them. We go in. We pop down a counter shield. This is a very easy win for us based off the positioning of their shield. We made sure to let them put theirs down first. I know I talked to Boger about it a little bit. I know Cynic's probably said it a few times. Being the Orisa to plop your shield down first usually nets you a loss unless it's in the poke phase. Especially on maps like this where they're engaging, they put down a shield. All we have to do is walk through it, make that call, plop our shield down, and we win that fight most of the time. We're holding up very far, which is fine. I like the aggressive hold. We're basically playing to pull resources from them and kind of push in really early, absorb as many resources as possible. All the while we're fighting here. There's no point pressure. There's no easy way for them to get away from this. Our percentage is ticking. It's at about the same as theirs is. By the time this fight is over, whether it's a win for them or a loss for them, we're going to accrue about another 15 to 20%, which is good for us. It puts us in 1 to 2 fight territory, depending on how good we can stagger them later on. They're committing a lot of ults. That's 3 from them. 1 from us, 3 from them. That's not bad.
I think they went a little too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with Cynic. It was very optimistic. Like I said, obviously there's positives to it. We accrued percent. There was no point pressure. We did get a bunch of ults from them. Obviously, these two being the key ultimates for them. Not super bad, not super good. I wouldn't recommend holding up that far or taking an engagement there. It's not worth it most of the time unless you have the ults to commit. You can take a really, really fast one. Let's just keep that in mind, Boger, when you're calling to make plays like that. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The risk versus reward, usually not worth it, but you don't usually do stuff like that, so I'm not super mad about it.
I think check for corners right now. Checking left side. Doom's top
Checking
left.
corners is good. Good job, Razor. Calling out their DPS. Aspire is over here. Dueling their Reaper. He's forced their Wraith. This is good. Their Reaper is nowhere near his ult. This is a good time for us to start making plays. Their Doom's down on cooldowns. We've committed very, very quickly. Boger Overwatch. Your shield was here. Our Sigma shield is here. You are past both of their shields. Outside of the range for more healing. And away from your Lucio. You've committed your gold. Holy shit, talking is hard. You've committed gold already into their Orisa, and they've put in very minimal resources. Their Orisa still has gold, their Orisa still has pull, their Doom's coming up on another punch. You know, this is not good from you. This is dangerous. You should die here. Once your gold is over, they should pull you, punch you, kill you, and that's probably what happens. Let's see. Nice ult from Aspire. Aspire cut. Both their supports are dead. We should play really, really aggressive here and just win. Okay. So, not super bad from everyone else. Bogers, be really, really careful with your cooldowns. Make sure you're not committing gold early. Don't put your shield down, you know, in front of their Orisa shield. You want your shield to be through theirs if we're engaging aggressively like that, especially with a Reaper ult. Make sure that we're calling that we're going for it. I know Aspire said he was ulting, but it was after the fact. He had already pressed Q. Committing resources to it, making sure that we're putting bodies on Aspire so that he doesn't get punched out of his ult immediately is usually a good play. Obviously, in this instance, he pops his ult, he gets booped off. Things like that can be prevented just by stacking bodies on Aspire. There's a relatively cheap fight from us as well. I don't think they committed anything. They didn't really have anything to commit. All we did was commit Aspire's ult, which is fine. We're taking this forward position again, holding here, getting ready to engage on the choke as fast as we can.
They're going left side. They're going left side. They're going left side.
Call that they're going left side is put out. Razor rotates backwards. We're not holding as aggressively here as we could. We know that they're coming from here. No one's on a flank. We're observing that. No one came this way. We didn't see anyone go this way. So all 6 of them are here, with the exception of, you know, Noctis, who's over here playing Reddit Lucio Simulator. So something that we can do here, especially because of the ults that we have. We do have our Sigma ult, Fran and Aspen's ults, and we're coming up on a bongo. We can hold here in this doorway, wait for them to put down a shield, push really, really aggressively with our Sigma ult, and win. Obviously here we're going for a pull Sigma ult. The Reaper's out of range. Vulcan might get hit. These two are pretty safe unless they move. Their Orisa has gold still, so not the best Sigma ult, but I do like the trigger pull. We did it very fast. It's not the best spot it could have been in. It's not the fastest it could have been, but the idea is there. The idea of aggression and pulling the trigger as fast as we can to get these fights over with, especially here when we're at 94 and 84% respectively. I like this. Should result in a fight win here. Our ults are winning ults. We have this one, this one, this one coming up on these two. They don't really have a lot. Afro's going to get his ult. Cry might get his. And Noctis has his. Potion probably will get theirs. But if we pull the trigger quickly, which right now we're doing so, we should win this fight pretty handedly. Beat goes away after our Sigma ult. We Moira ult. We push into them really, really aggressively. We win. This is what I would like to see here.
Push with me. Doom,
Oh,
doom, doom, doom.
both Afro and Potion walked into the Sigma ult, no worries.
Yeah, play with me, play with me.
Honest mistake, happens all the time.
Bongo. Orisa, Orisa, go. Go, go,
Good
go.
pull rock, nice punch from Razor. Good call, nice job Razor.
Careful boop, careful boop. I'm done.
Kill Doom.
Overall, not bad.
Doom.
Like I said, call to engage here is good. We waste all of their resources. We go in with our own. Boger gets his bongo at about the same time that their beat's over. He commits. We commit. Everything, it's peachy. And they end up using a lot of resources for a whole lot of nothing. We find Cry pretty quickly when he TPs in and goes for his ult. Noctis's beat was used to counter our Sigma ult. Potion dies pretty early on, and Afro gets pressured out too hard, has to retreat this way to get a Mega, and can't come in and capitalize off the fact that he built his ult. Good job, guys. Overall, what I'm liking here is we're playing aggressively. The idea is there. We know pretty much where we're supposed to engage, how we're supposed to do it. We're not over-ulting, we're not under-ulting, we're not playing too scared. All good things. I like the Pharah here. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's necessarily the best currently right now on this patch with the amount of McCree that's being played. I also think Reaper Doom here is just really, really good. The amount of aggression, the speed at which you can rotate around the well, take fights wherever you want. This is a choke, 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 this is a choke. Both of these doorways are chokes. Even this could be considered a choke. There's a lot of places that you can take fights on Reaper Doom here. With the amount of pressure you can exert in a choke, especially if your Reaper, hides here or up here, over here, in here, here. There's a lot of things you can do with Reaper Doom on this point specifically. Even if they have something like a McCree or a Pharah, you can win the frontline battle pretty quick, like what they did. They didn't ignore our Pharah because he got pull rocked, but all they did was run at our tanks, take the opportunity after gold and after our shield was put down to push through it, kill our tanks, and the fight was theirs. We swapped immediately. That's a good play from them. Alright, next map. I don't want to listen to Cynic. None of this trace or shit. Thank you, Cynic. Alright, so again, we're here on mirrors. We know how this goes. We know where we need to be. We know most likely where they're going. We're going to call it out that they can win high ground. We see that the tanks are here. We need to aggress on this quickly. Their Doom and their Orisa are down here. Their Sigma is up here on the high ground. This turns into a pull, a rock, and a kill here. If it doesn't, I'm going to be a little disappointed. The Lucio's here, the Sigma, their Moira are here. There's no one here really to help them out. This should, because we're in a dense ball of 6, we should just run into their Orisa, pull their Doom, kill their Doom, wait for gold to be over, kill the Orisa, move to point. There we go. Okay, Cry gets a Spire. It's not the end of the world. Still a winnable fight for us. We split pretty quickly here. Got a little hectic after a Spire died. I think this is Fran. Boger's here. Razor's here. That's Mark. I don't know where Aspen is. In this area, maybe? But, we need to make sure that if we're going on a target, it's not the Orisa. If the Orisa still has gold, obviously it's the start of the round, she definitely still has gold. We don't call the Orisa. There was a Doomfist right next to her that we could have pulled, rock count, and kind of just, blown up. A lot of Doom's abilities get canceled or bugged in a way with pull. That would just made him a really easy kill, specifically because he used punch coming down this way. He didn't have punch to get away at the start of the fight. Target priority, obviously, in this engagement. Based off of where we were and where they were, Doom, Orisa, everyone else. The idea is there as well. Like I said last map, I like the idea. I like what we're going for. I see what we're going for. I see the aggression. But we need to make sure that it's targeted aggression, that we're looking at the right people at the right times. Obviously, an Orisa with both of her cooldowns is not a killable target, especially when their Moira is, within fade distance. Doomfist, very killable target in that situation. But the idea is there. Execution's a little sloppy. It could use work, yeah. But, that's what we're here for. Also, something that I would like to see is having either Aspire or Razor. Doesn't have to be both, one or the other. Doesn't really matter which. If we're going to rotate through cage like this, we need one of them to come this way. Or peek out of this door here to scout their high ground, see who's up here. Again, we hesitated just a tad here when it was the Orisa and the Doomfist, so we didn't know that they were on high ground. It could be easily avoided. We call it their split. We push really, really hard, and we win. They had to fade this way to get to their Orisa. Committed amp, more than likely, to get over there with their Sigma. So knowing where all of them are before we start the engagement is really, really important. And that's something that we can do really, really easily because both of our DPS are for the most part, pretty mobile. You know, Reaper has Wraith, TP, things like that. I think Aspire was one of the first people to get here. Obviously, he TP's here. He comes out this way. He says, oh, they're on high ground. We walk through. We kill the Orisa. You know, game over. Oh, fucking hell. Oh.
Clear high ground. You're up on them.
Clearing high ground.
Clear the high ground.
Okay, the Reaper's TP'd above us.
Can I Reaper? Reaper on me. I don't want to lose.
I'm cold.
Boger almost died.
Are we ready to go with Colin?
I am ready.
So the Reaper TP's above us, right here. We call it, we see it. We don't force his resources in any way, shape, or form. All he does is jump down, walk away. Pull, rock, punch, things like that. Force his Wraith. Don't let him get out for free. Obviously, if he doesn't Wraith, he dies. Things we need to do, especially when he makes a mistake like that, teleporting up there as we're coming through should result in him dying very, very quickly. Obviously, that comes with time. Punishment of something like that needs to happen, I think. Even if he was up here before, we should see it. We should pull him. We should pressure him, make him feel like he needs to Wraith out.
Get me. Shoot me, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. Nice. 3, 2, 1, go. Get down.
Nice pull, Cole. They're Bearig.
Dim no punch.
Nice punch from Razor.
Orisa. He's dead. Go Doom. Go point.
Okay, not bad.
Go point.
The engagement there. Trigger pull was there. Boger called to engage. We pull, coalesce. We make sure we're looking at the same target. We don't go for the Orisa first. We wait for their goal to be over before we call the Orisa as a target. Easy win for us. Very, very minimal commitment from us as well. All we did was use Fran's ult. Very, very good from us.
More Nori. Nice, good job.
Okay, Cynic.
Mid fight.
Okay, so this positioning here, I like this a lot. Aspire's here in the event they go high ground. Razor's here in the event that they don't. We don't have a stacked shield right now, but they're not going to be here before we don't. Our tanks are holding here so that we can engage both on them with a pull from the high ground once we force them down, or in this choke right here with Razor. What I want to see here from you, Boger, is the call to execute immediately. As soon as their Orisa crosses the threshold, whether it's this choke or comes out of this door, we need to pull them, let Aspire get value, let him drop, or we need to pull them here, let Razor go in with his E, uppercut, punch out, and we engage very, very quickly into them using our Doom ult.
I want to use Doom mid fight if we need to. Or what do we want to do first now? We have Ponga. We can do that. Yeah.
They're pushing. Lucio's pushing.
I'm gonna pull them if they're going high ground.
They're going high ground, so...
Yeah.
Give me touch.
Go in 6.
I need heals.
Okay, a little weird from Aspire. He's booped down, just fine. We back up just a tad, wait for them to drop. We've bongoed early, they Sigma ult. So what I want to see here from us, Aspen, I want you to beat at the end of the Sigma ult. And then I want us to engage using our Doom ult, or maybe a counter Sigma ult if they decide to try to run at us, which I don't think they will, because they haven't committed bongo yet. Let's see what happens.
Pulling now, pulling above.
I'm on Reap.
Good job, Razor.
I'm gonna hard slow with my shield.
Sigma no shift.
Both support ults committed. We've killed 2 people. It's a 1 fight from us. I like that we got a relatively cheap fight. The beat was good. Fran's ult, while I think it was kind of unnecessary, I do understand why she did it. Kept everyone alive. We didn't use any of our DPS ults. All we did use was Boger's ult. I think this is a really good fight from us. Obviously, they engaged pretty aggressively. They didn't have time to use any of their ults because we punished them. Really good job. They called a kite, things like that. Very, very positive. I want to see that be more consistent from you, Bogers. Calling to kite, calling to wait to take engagements like you did there.
I'm gonna use Sigil defensively because if I Sigil, they're gonna reroll.
Okay, if they go high ground,
It's a good call from Mark.
go high ground.
So we're looking to Sigil defensively when they push in. Cry will probably end up going for his reroll at the same time we just comes and goes for it.
I'm hiding.
Never mind.
Meeting.
Alright.
Okay.
They rushed. We weren't really prepared. Tracking was there, but there was no plan for countering their ults. We couldn't really do much anyway. We don't have any defensive ults. We don't have a Moira ult, things like that. They come in, they commit 3. Quick wipe from us. We come back, you know, maybe 77%, 78%. We're in 2-fight territory. We have good ults coming up. We should come in, just wipe them really, really fast. And this should be a win from us.
You can just like ult and then just Doom later.
They're just on the play.
Tell me when you're pulling.
Doing side ground. Okay, ready?
I don't know what Aspire's doing. He's having a good time.
Three for pull, pulling now. Sigma.
Alright, so we pull, we force the beat, which is good. And we call to engage very, very quickly. Aspen has low health. It's a little scary for me. Let's see how this goes.
I'm meeting. Reaper no raid.
Really nice call to turn around there. Doom got punished pretty quickly. Their Reese as well got punished about as quickly as you can punish a horse. Good flip, clean flip. 2 ults is all we needed.
We go fast, Bongo. Delete them.
I like the call for Boger to go fast. Use all the ults we have just to wipe them and win the round.
Yeah, they're going left, so probably high ground.
What I don't want to see, something that Boger said, I know he's probably joking, but we see them, we go, we need to make sure that we're committed, or that they're committed into the fight, and that they're past the point of no return before we try to run into them. Obviously, it's 90%. They do need to touch, but they do have time to kind of bait us. If we bongo here, they can obviously back up this way, have their Lucio go around for the touch, while they rotate around and kind of ignore the bongo and the Moira ult. So what I do want to see is making sure that they're in before we full commit.
Stay with me.
Nice beat.
Win this fight.
Not a bad round. Obviously, like I said earlier, the idea is there. Obviously, the fundamentals, we know we want to play an aggressive play style. We're doing a pretty good job at it. The execution is a little bit sloppy. We need to make sure that we know where our engage points are. Here, 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 here. Things like that when we're on the defense. When we're on offense, we need to realize when we rotate, especially when we go high ground, that we want to go as quickly as possible. Go with our Orisa shield like we did. Make sure that we pull them, coalesce them, Sigma ult them, whatever we need to do. Force them backwards, away from where we want to be, and then eventually turn that into a rotation to the point. Whether we have picks or not, is obviously important. But making sure that we're playing aggressively into them, forcing their resources, and then having someone with a foot on the point put point pressure on them so that they feel pressured to push with no resources, will lead to very, very easily punished mistakes, like an Orisa walking at Boger. If he doesn't have gold, if he doesn't have a stacked shield, things like that, that will result in a pretty easy kill for us. Oh shit. I was distracted by Cynic's beautiful words.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Shield me. Go.
Alright. Boger did the thing again. This is where his shield is. This is where everyone else is. They're stopping us from rotating through them past the shield. We haven't forced them out. Their Orisa has gold, so there's no reason our shield should be this far up. If we want to push them aggressively like this, we need to make sure that our DPS and our Sigma are in a position to help you. Obviously, Aspen also. Razor is not ready to go in. He's not ready to go this deep. Mark isn't ready to go in this deep. So you need to be really careful, Boger. This here should result in you dying. You don't have a shield. You're going to waste your gold. After it's over, they're going to pull you. You're going to die. You've committed your gold. We call a push really aggressively, and they give up all the space that they had. Okay, this is a win for us. Okay. Not a good play from you, Boger. But they fucked up, to be fair. You shouldn't put your shield up that far. If we're gonna put our shield up that far, we have to 6-man rush them. Razor can't really be taking an off angle. Aspire can teleport behind them like he did. But we need to pressure their tanks backwards as quickly as possible. Obviously here they kind of just walked backwards after they pressured us. For some reason, you know, that's how it be. But you need to make sure that you call for that. We shield in, we have to aggressively 6-man rush them. Or 5-man with Aspire behind them. Oh. You know, I didn't see this. They had a Widow. That's why they had to do what they did. Okay, so I take it back. They played Widow, which was their mistake. They didn't have enough pressure to keep you from pushing back into them after you golded. It's a win from you. I don't know if you observed that immediately, but if they had a Reaper, you would have died. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful with your shield placement. Why are they on Widow? Why are they still on Widow? There he goes. Nice job. Okay. So we're holding aggressively. I like this here. Aspire holding the high ground. I don't know why Fran is up here, but, you know, there's no real negatives outside of the fact that she's probably going to have to fade down in either direction to help our tanks in the event they push really fast. They're going through main, so this will probably be the case. Their Lucio is on high ground, so they're not being sped. So right now, I think we're in a good spot. We're ready to play aggressively into this choke. Aspire's primed to go. Razor's primed to go. This is good from us. I like these kinds of holds. Alright, they decided to go left. We drop, we push into them. Boger is doing the thing where he feeds. Doesn't die though. Alright. Bold move. Mr. Aspire. TPing up here, dropping into them. Obviously very, very risky. You do end up getting punished for it, but you do get their Orisa in the process, so there should be a fight win for us. Their Doom is 1 HP. This should be very, very easily cleaned up for us. I don't like the play. I don't like that you died for it. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. I want to watch that again. I don't understand why we lost. But let's take a look-see. So Spire dies. Boger gets nade by Cry. It's fine. We are even in this engagement. They don't have any ults to commit. We have the same people alive. They have a Reaper though. I guess could be it. A lot more damage on their part. Okay, so Noctis wins the 1v1. Potion and Vulcan take Mark down. So while we maybe shouldn't have lost this, I do understand why. Cry was putting in a lot of damage. He just swapped. He's at 40% for his ult. He obviously did a good majority of the damage in this engagement, which is fine. Happens. We got a good amount of percentage on the point as well. 43, 44, 45, probably 47 by the time it flips. Fighting over here is good. Again, it's like what we did on Ilios well. A little optimistic, a little dangerous. Risk versus reward, you know, maybe not so good. But there's no point pressure that they can create. They have to rotate through a choke, into a choke. So I think if the call is made to execute just a little bit faster before half of their team comes through this first initial choke, then we can choke them up and we can, you know, hold them there and wipe them pretty quickly without the need to look both directions at their Sigma over here, their Reese over here, their Reaper up here, their Doom over here. Making sure that we cut them off before they start to rotate, which makes it harder for us to capitalize off of the fact that we're engaging quickly.
I don't see where they're Sigma.
They're back at statues.
There is no gold. There is no gold. Can we
Angels
go?
fighting friend.
Oh shit, I muted it.
Okay.
There we go.
Their Sigma just dropped off top right. How close are they playing?
Medium. They're back at statues.
Okay.
I'm
clearing them.
3, 2, 1, boom.
You're from me.
There is no gold. There is no gold. There is no gold. Can we
Angels
go?
fighting friend.
Okay, so we bongo early. They have a lot of space, obviously. They're holding here. Everything behind them is space for them to kite away from the bongo. If we had Fran's ult, odds are we probably would have bongo coalescenced, which would have been bad for us. The bongo here buys us a lot of space. We have all of this to work with now so that Razor and Spire can go on flanks and Mark can off angle either up here on the point to exert pressure and make it a little bit easier for our DPS to do what they need to do. The bongo I don't think is good, but I don't think it's bad either. Not really getting a lot of value from it, but I do. The idea is there. We're still getting that, this, the amount of damage you guys got off before the bongo disconnected. This game sucks. Boys rolling out with the bongo boost. Again, this is not bad. I don't know if it's applying the damage boost. I think it might be a visual thing with the game. But it's a good pick onto their Orisa. Obviously, he tried to, what do regular people call it? He tried to turtle right here. You can call it what you want, salt shaker, evil toaster. Tried to, you know, stand there, put pressure on the point while everyone else rotated backwards to kind of absorb the pressure. Their Doom was flanking, their Reaper was somewhere in this area, their Lucio was up here, their Sigma is over here. The Orisa dies pretty quickly. It's just good, indicative of good target focus, good cooldown management. We've only used one ult so far, and this should be a 1-5 from us. I don't think we have to commit much else. Nice punch from Razor. Come on, bro. So they sig ult, which is fine. We counter with beat, keep them in the same rotation. We're up 2 at this point. Fran using her ult here, and Razor using his ult. I don't know if Razor used it to not die, but overcommittal for sure. If we commit anything else, this will be very, very bad for us. It'll be a very negative fight for us, even if we win.
I get killed it. I'm splitting down mid.
We traded Dumont. Razor said it's fine.
Oh, Doom have to break there. No uppercut.
Okay. Very gentle overcommittal. 3 ults for a fight that was won before we committed 2. It happens. We're still in a pretty good spot. We have Sigma ult, Reaper ult ready to go for when they push in. They do have a lot of ults though. This should be a loss for us. We just accrue as much as we can, fighting off the point, cutting onto the point, taking a staggered, hopefully dry fight here. Unless we can catch them out using Aspire's ultimate very, very early.
Yeah, they're close left. Lucius goes right side. Doom's right side.
Don't run into them in this corridor.
Don't top right. Following them. They're all both.
I'm doing it.
Aspire gets a good pick. Cry trades. They've committed 3 ultimates so far. So 1, 2, 3. This is good for us. We've only committed 1. We don't really have much else to commit. This is a lost fight. We take this. We come back with Reaper ult. We almost have a coalescence. The next fight should be a win. All they have is coalescence to kind of counter our aggression with our Reaper ult. And as long as, like I said earlier, as long as we get in, we stack bodies on Aspire. He should be able to get his ult off and, you know, get that Vic Roy.
We're A-okay. We are A-okay.
Yeah.
Big stall.
No, they use beat.
Okay, I'm gonna TP left behind them. And I'm gonna walk in and we could
We're going to have mirrored Moira ults, which is good for us here. Spire should be able to get a big ult off. The Moira ult's there to support him. And as long as we don't let them just run it down, counter him, we're good. We LOS this. There's no reason we have to take this. I get why we're doing it. I get we want to play aggressive. We've wasted their Wraith. We want to go in. But they prematurely pop their Coalescence from all the way back here. There's no reason for us to push into this. We hold ours. We LOS over here. Maybe we back over here if they start pushing in. We LOS. We push aggressively with our first rotation of cooldowns. We force them backwards. Then we pop Coalescence. We push again with our second rotation of cooldowns. We pop Aspire's ult. We win. They're at 68%. There's no reason for us to take a fight this fast. I like the tempo. Obviously, I get why you're doing it. The idea is there of playing aggressively, capitalizing on the fact that they use both their gold, their Wraith, their Sigma used his eating thingy. But I think the correct play here would be to just LOS over here, not counter. Run it down on them. Aspire did some weird teleport thingy. I think Razor got one tapped. There we go. We wasted Fran's ult on engage. Obviously, we didn't get much with it. They were coalescing as well. Spire goes in for the ult, immediately gets rocked because we're not stacking bodies on him. Our Sigma shield is here, our Risa shield's back here. There's nothing to really stop him from getting rocked. Their Doom is here. He could have punched him, uppercut him, whatever. We need to make sure that if we don't have the resources to cover him with shields, with gold, with Sigma ETH, that we need to stack bodies on Aspire so that he can get his ult off. Because ults like that, where he goes, hits it and immediately dies, or immediately gets canceled, it's not worth it. We're getting no value, and we probably get more value from him holding it and us taking a dry fight here. Winnable. Obviously, they don't have an erase anymore. L.
Come on, Dim. Dim.
They're so low. Sigma's so low.
Yeah, because
Nice.
Good night, Razor. Okay, so that'll do for the review. Obviously, I'm not going to look at the extra rounds. What I want us to really focus on today, going into scrims, making sure that we're executing in the correct places, making sure we're taking advantage of chokes wherever they may be, whatever map it is, identifying chokes, playing around them, setting up flanks either on high ground, behind them, in this tree if you want to get really jiggy with it. Bogey, you need to make sure that you're not throwing your shield too far on aggressive plays. Make sure we're holding tab, identify their composition as soon as we can. We can pick our tempo depending on what we see, what's going on. If they have a Widow, obviously we play way more aggressively. We throw our Sigma shield out and we win. If they don't, obviously we need to play a little bit more tempered, wait for our opportunity to seize aggression. Make sure we're not overcommitting ultimates. Fuck, what else? Don't let them go through chokes. Be ready to go into them. I know I just said this like a minute ago, being ready to engage on chokes, but having a half-ass commit here in this choke made it really, really hard for us to fight. Both times we tried it, we didn't full commit into the choke before they got through it, and it resulted in us losing because their DPS could go around this way, and get the flanks off because we're not full committing and hard pressuring their tank line and their supports here. They have time to come around, hard pressure our supports back here or over here, depending on where we were standing. What kind of positioning we were taking before the fight started. Fuck. Epic pen.